Overwatch 2 game review. Hello beautiful people. In this video we will talk about Overwatch 2 game review. It's better to think of Overwatch 2 as Overwatch 2 instead of a full sequel. While many of its playable heroes have undergone significant changes, alongside the introduction of 3 brand new ones, this is essentially the same game you've been playing for the past 6 years. Activision Blizzard has, quite literally, stuck a number on the end and called it a day. However, for those in need of an excuse to return to the online title, that might be all it takes. A massively updated version of the same game, Overwatch 2, is still great to play. The developer has been smart about the reintroduction too, lowering the barrier of entry to just a download. Overwatch 2 ditches the price point of its predecessor for the free-to-play model, replacing loot boxes with a battle pass along the way. The latest way of delivering cosmetics, both free and paid for, will always have its doubters, but it's almost objectively better than the randomized nature of loot boxes. Overwatch joins Fortnite, Apex Legends, and the rest in the present, which is always nice to see. Its first seasonal battle pass isn't quite up to snuff, however. With challenges being the main way of rising through the ranks via XP gains, leveling up feels like it takes slightly too long. Completing a match and knocking off a few challenges only got us maybe a quarter of the way closer to our next reward. And that's even with the 20% XP bonus awarded to owners of the Premium Battle Pass. Furthermore, not including payouts of the premium currency for some of the tiers. That's a big no-no. We welcome the free-to-play model, but Activision Blizzard has some kinks to iron out before Overwatch 2 can be a real winner. By the way, we are gathering gamers and gaming lovers like you in our YouTube channel RAYAROZEN, so it would be nice if you join our gaming community by subscribing our YouTube channel. We upload a cool game stuff like gaming reviews, different gameplays, top 10 games compilations etc. Luckily, it already is in-game once you beat the queue system and load up a match. New players will have heroes unlocked for them gradually, making it easier to get to grips with specific roles, while returning veterans have the full lineup at their fingertips straight from the off. One of the biggest gameplay changes in Overwatch 2 sees each team drop a player for a 5v5 bout consisting of 2 DPS, damage per second, characters, a tank, and a support. The first game allowed a second tank to join the party, so the sequel switches shields for HP guzzling action. It's a change that speeds gameplay up, allowing more aggressive players to thrive. Reinhardt's shield will always stop a team in its tracks and Orisa still feels unstoppable, especially since the new update adds a javelin to her arsenal. But with just one on the battlefield, they become much more manageable. Soldier 76 could sprint behind enemy lines, or Pharah can rain rockets down from above. DPS characters have always been able to do this, but with one less tank to worry about, matches have become much more hotly contested. Complementing the gameplay changes and balance tweaks is a smattering of new content. The 3 new heroes are Junker Queen, Sojourn, and Kiriko, and they're accompanied by 6 new maps and a game mode named Push. Is that enough content to justify a sequel? Of course not. Overwatch 2 isn't much more than a marketing strategy designed to reignite player interest in a game that hasn't really had much to shout about for a number of years. Proven by the fact you can't even play the original game anymore, Activision Blizzard has taken it offline in its entirety. Overwatch 2 is pitched as the new norm. The saving grace is that the only barrier to entry is an internet connection. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, though, because it's worked. Interest in the new game shoots player queues into the thousands once the USA wakes up, and as the likes of Warzone take a backseat before its own sequel hits next month, the internet is ablaze with all things Overwatch 2. What new and returning players find is a quality gameplay loop that still puts a lot of other multiplayer titles to shame. On the surface, Overwatch 2 doesn't look much different than its predecessor. Graphically, the game has improved lighting and shaders, as well as other new effects for fog and cloth. The heroes have new looks, too, though some changes are more significant than others. In addition, Blizzard introduced enhanced audio using its convolution reverb system that changes the weapon and footstep sounds depending on the environment. Still, despite these improvements, Overwatch 2 looks and feels very similar to Overwatch 1, from its UI to hero quips. Overwatch 2 switches from 12-player matches to 10-player matches. This changes the player composition to 1 tank, 2 DPS, and 2 support heroes per team. In practice, the difference is noticeable. For example, tanks are optimized for aggressive play, so Overwatch 2 has a more nimble flow than its predecessor. In addition, roles feel less restrictive overall, which makes it easy to hop in and play, or swap heroes to your liking. Once it all clicks, matches feel even faster than they did in the original game. The second major change is also the most controversial. Overwatch 2 is now free to play, taking a seasonal update approach like Fortnite, Rocket League, and Rumbleverse. The first season launched alongside the game on October 4, as well as the 3 new heroes, 6 new maps, a new game mode, and a few dozen cosmetics. In addition, Blizzard has killed the original Overwatch with Overwatch 2's debut, so you can no longer play the first game. Although you'll be able to carry over cosmetics and unspent coins, shutting down a paid game and shifting to a free-to-play model is sure to leave a sour taste in many gamers' mouths. In truth, Overwatch 2 doesn't really feel like a sequel, despite tweaks to the game's meta. In fact, Overwatch 2's most appealing addition, the new PvE mode, is nowhere to be seen. The PvE mode will include cooperative story missions and separate hero missions. In this mode, you can level up heroes using skill trees and unlock customization options that change their abilities and create unique builds. Unfortunately, PvE isn't due to arrive until 2023. Overwatch 2 features many of the same maps from the original title, albeit with slightly enhanced graphics. We still argued with our teams over party composition, still got called slurs over voice chat, and still typed out GG, even when it wasn't a GG. Even the new tug-of-war game type, Push, didn't add anything too exciting. Hardcore fans may appreciate the minor changes, but the average Overwatch player might not notice much difference between the two shooters. Although, what they won't find are the story missions and online co-op mode Activision Blizzard revealed alongside the sequel nearly 3 years ago. Now set to be patched into the game in 2023, it's the sort of content that would have better justified putting the number 2 at the end of its name. Overwatch 2 has theoretically launched into early access, though, so expect the studio to point towards that as an excuse should it come under fire. For the average customer, this is the full game. Except that's the thing, and we can't get away from it. Overwatch was a fantastic game that played brilliantly. The exact same can be said of its sequel. No matter how much one could moan about missing content or battle passes, the beauty of a live service title is there's more to come and you probably won't be paying for it. It's just so easy to get your mates online for a few rounds and enjoy what is still one of the best multiplayer games around. Overwatch 2 is not a full sequel in the way one usually is, instead porting over the original game and enhancing it with a bit of new content. It doesn't justify the number at the end, but that doesn't take away from what is still a terrific multiplayer experience. Removing the price point entirely, Overwatch 2 can now be considered one of the best free-to-play games around. So, that's it for this video, hope you enjoyed it. If you do like our video, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.